Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to make a very important video topic to you talking about family not always being blood. Some people will disagree with this, but look at where that person's at in life and ask if they're happy. If they're happy, then maybe they might have some merit, but most often or not, that person can't always relate to you because your family is different. Everyone has different families. You cannot just say to someone, well, your family should be like this. Okay, explain that to the entire family. Or go live that person's lives. The thing is, we're all technically family. We're all technically blood. We all got born into specific families for very specific reasons. Now, when it comes to family, we're all technically blood. People say blood is thicker than water. Okay, that comes from an entire quote, and it comes from something in 1933 or something like that. And people will use that to get away with stuff. People will use that as an injustice. So, well, they only stole your food once, or they didn't pay you back or whatever. Oh, they're family though. They're family. They're cool. You want to go backwards in life? Let that be cool. Now, some people have amazing families, and sometimes God will give you a family. Not sometimes. When you make a certain space in your life, God will add more than you've ever thought you had. And I'll talk about that in this video too. God will make a family for you. We're all technically blood. We all come from Adam and Eve. If I bleed the same blood as you, we're humans. The thing is, people will say, well, this person was born to this person, this is a relative. Okay, in ancient times, it meant something completely different, and people actually honored certain traditions, certain practices. What people are doing is completely different now. Some people just don't have any respect. Some people will cross boundaries they shouldn't be crossing, and some people will just let people get away with anything because they're like, oh, it's family. It's family. It's okay. They're family. I'm here to tell you that ain't right. It's been going on for too long, and that's just it seems like people will do things over and over again and involve themselves in things that just don't work. For example, if you're wondering why you're around someone, and let's just say, and this happens to a lot of people who get necklaces from me, they'll put on a necklace and certain family members won't come around because whenever they're around that family member, they're having financial problems. They're having their energy sucked. They're getting into arguments and fights and yelling and screaming. And is that what your blood has cost you? Well, we're all technically blood. Don't even use that as an example. Blood is thicker than water. Humans are made up mostly of water. Okay. So that's just talking at that point. Blood is thicker than water. Well, we're all blood. Get used to it because we're all blood. We all come from Adam and Eve. We all come from a common ancestor on the same planet. So one thing you do have to know is just because someone's related to you does not mean you let them get away with anything. Does not mean that you let them just cross boundaries and lame excuse, because that's how people get away with very, very strong abuses or different patterns of abuse, different things people will fully get away with just because they'll use that. Oh, but family is blood though. They'll let people steal and lie and backstab them and the same member of their family. At that point, that's your definition of family is based off of what culture you're born into. And one thing in college, I studied anthropology very deeply, and it's super interesting because in different sections of the world, family means something completely different. Different tribes in Africa, different tribes and even different tribes around the world, ancient indigenous people, just people from, it just depends on where the tribe, people in the Amazon, etc. People from everywhere have a different concept of family. Sometimes would you consider your sister actually, like, I'm not even sure what tribe it is, but for example, the youngest woman will become the mother, and then the oldest woman will become kind of like when the youngest woman will become like the sister, or the oldest woman will become the mother, and their mechanism of family is completely different. But if you're telling them that's wrong, that's basically you thinking your culture is better than theirs, just based because you're born into it and you don't know what their culture is like. You can't say anyone's culture is better than another culture. That's not it. So what am I saying? Family is something different everywhere, and family is what essentially you define it as. The true family is people of God. The thing about people of God, I'm gonna get into this right now. When you make distance from people, two energies, I'm getting excited here. Two energies cannot have a same space. They can't. So if you are a person of God, and you want to move yourself closer to God, oh, I'm getting into it now, and you have family around you, family who are blood, and they're blocking you from your relationship with the Most High God, they're saying what you're talking about, it's silly, it's fake, and that, oh, but they're blood, I have to keep them around, I have to live with them, I have to visit them. No, you don't. You're taught that you have to visit them, you have to see them. No, you don't. So if that person, every time they come around you, you're having bad luck, and that's your family, okay, sometimes by respecting your family, staying away from them is the best way to do that. Sometimes you're actually enabling your family to not heal by still talking to them, by still being around them. So in essence, you're doing more damage than actual good if you're letting people who cross boundaries do whatever they want with you and repeat the same patterns. That's a very, very ugly thing. It's a very horrible thing. That's actually, and this is a system that doesn't work. This is people repeating the same mistakes over and over and over, and they're wondering why it doesn't work. Well, their family have to stay around. Do everything in your power and ask God for help to be able to establish your own energy, not be dependent on people. If you're dependent, then that should be your first goal in life, is to try to become more independent, especially through the Lord. So what happens, because some people will just have one family member who's not good, a whole bunch of family members. You'll know what's right, because right is right and wrong is wrong. If that person's doing wrong and you're just staying by them because they're family, that's you. If you have the choice to go and you're not going, that's you. But if you don't and you have to stick around them, then that's more complicated. But in essence, you have to understand boundaries are boundaries. And I've seen people in people's families yell, scream, fight, abuse, and then stay together because they're family. Oh, no. Family, blood is thicker than water. And they'll use that same horrible excuse to let their family do whatever they want with them. And that person will never achieve abundance in their life in any form, because they're letting people step on them when they should be making distance. They're enabling that person to do bad habits and behavior that gets worse with age. And that truly does not help the person. So what are you supposed to do in this situation? Like I said, right is right, wrong is wrong. Oil and water separate after you leave them out. So if you shake it up, it'll mix together, but then it'll separate. If you are an angel and there's angels in your family, when I say angel, I mean you're angelic, you're someone who's close to God, and there's people who are flat out demons in your family. Has the Bible ever talked about demons chilling in heaven? No. And this is going to really shock some of you. Some of your family members are not going to make it to heaven. That's not in their desire. Let's just say that. Not every person makes it to heaven. Oh, heaven's just a vibration. It's not a vibration. It's an actual place. Okay? Now, this might scare you. Well, I'm telling you how it is. People sugarcoat stuff too much. Most people are not ahead in life because they have family members who are dragging them down. If you're someone who's watching this video and you're like, well, no, just stop. Just don't think about it. They're just family. Then you deserve that. You truly deserve it, because that's your karma. That's until you open your brain, until you learn. Harsh stone, man. But this is the thing. You have to fight for what's yours. Why are super gifted spiritual people born into families that are sometimes a mess? It's because that person is going to gain all their abilities by fighting themselves out of their situation. I know multiple people who are born into very high families, and their purpose is just it's set. So that person, because some people are like, well, if I had all the money in the world, I don't have any problems. There are some people who are born multimillionaires and they have so much money that they're just bored. Just flat out bored. They're born with it. They're just like, okay, I don't know what to do in life now. It's just like, some people, there's a lot of people like that. Some people are just flat out bored. So that's why certain people, when they're born into certain families, it's a little more of a challenge, because that's where they get their abilities unlocked. Ooh, that's how they achieve energies that can't be taken away. Now I'm going to go into this some more. So what if you have really nice family, really good, you keep them around? That is who should be your family. Someone you're energetically growing with, like people you have around you who love you. And if what happens if it's an in-between? If they crave light, then they'll have light. If they fight light, then they won't. What if they're in between? You can't be in between heaven and hell. Okay? You can be, essentially it's a purgatory, but there's no such thing as a neutral spirit. I don't care what anyone says. With spirits, especially, because they'll decide to be good or they'll decide to be bad. They'll pick one. So if you see that person who's around you picks darkness or picks really bad habits or doesn't want to change, then you'll be with them. You'll be in their same financial situation, in their same emotional situation. You'll follow their same patterns. You'll adopt their patterns. You'll adopt everything about them. So it's up to you to make the distance. Now, some people are born into awesome families, because certain people who have gotten their entire families have gotten necklaces from me, because they're like a power family. It's because you were born into that. That's your gifts. Maybe that was your family in lifetimes ago. You might have been related, and God is like, okay, this is a very solid family, a family of God. And you put God first. God always has to come first. And if you have family around you who is separating you from God, you have a choice. You have a choice. So, and this is a very empowering video, because people will guilt you. People will guilt you. People who just are trained to accept things that don't work for them. The next time someone gives you advice of, oh, that's your blood, you have to talk to them. No, that's if I take something and I have to be careful of YouTube words. If I take something and then to another person, the thing that comes out is the same color. The blood's the same color, okay? So what just because, and if you have to get, I'm so passionate about this topic because so many people are just, they feel guilty. Society will guilt you. This society will guilt you. Well, you don't talk to your family, you're a monster. Oh, you're not respecting them. Sometimes the best way to honor and respect them is by keeping them away. Because when you get together, then heaven and hell clash. It becomes a war. The war against light and darkness. You really have to understand it's okay to make distance. It's okay to know what's right and to stand what's right, because the Most High is backing you. Who's right and who's wrong? The one doing right by God. The person who's not doing right by God, they'll have to answer to God. And yes, I'm very animated about this. I'm like, yes, I'm finally teaching about this, because I hear that slogan so often. That term, oh, blood is thicker than water. Look at certain TV shows. If you ever say, this is crazy, any TV show that I've watched that says blood is thicker than water, a couple episodes or a couple seasons later, minimum a couple seasons or maximum a couple seasons later, the whole family falls apart and the family's backstabbing each other and there's war and the family somehow gets ended. It's because they stuck together when demons and angels can't coexist in the same space. Like I said, let me get to a very important part of this video. When you decide what happens after you make that space, nature's gonna fill a void. Nothing can be fully empty. So God, once you make a little space and you cut certain people out of your life who don't belong in your life, and because you crave light and let's just say you're close to God, and the person who is in your family, they're away from God and they make fun of God, which that person will get turned to dust. They'll get turned to dust very fast. They'll have nothing left until they have God left. And they'll move closer to God that way. But if you're close to that person and that person's distancing you from God, well, I can't talk about God because that person's around and they're gonna get into a fight with me. Cut them off. Because in the end of the day, you did not come into the world with that person. Well, unless it's the person who birthed you, and sometimes even that. But you're gonna leave this world by yourself. You're gonna leave this world by yourself. And yes, always, and the Bible does say, honor your mother and honor your father. Do that, but do what it takes to honor them. Honor, love thy neighbor, love everyone, but make sure you're doing what's right. If you have to stand up for yourself to get away, make sure you're doing right by God. If you're doing right by God, you don't have to worry because God's at your back. Whew. What happens when you make the distance? Finally, I'll get to this. When you make the distance and you're all on your own, you're never all on your own. What did I say from earlier? We all come from Adam and Eve. God will give you people who will become your family, who will become someone who is strong. Blood is stronger than, no, they'll become stronger than every element. They'll become stronger than the strongest bond. And that family is someone you'll actually have in heaven. Versus you're in heaven, the person who went against God doesn't make it with you. No, you will get a family that's actually true family, that doesn't backstab you, that doesn't steal from you, that doesn't lie to you, that doesn't hurt you, that doesn't cross boundaries. and you'll actually be in a place of harmony. Some people know what I'm talking about. Brothers from another mother. That's real. Or just whatever circumstance. Because everyone has different circumstances. But do not let people guilt you. If you have to make space, because that is where your blessings lie. If a person in your family is going to block you from any form of abundance or connection to the Most High God, it's okay to make that distance. Right? And I have to say this over and over. It's no his side, her side. Oh, no this, no you have to do this. There's right. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. You do right by God or you don't do right by God. I'm going to make that nice and simple. If you're around people who are against God, make fun of God, who think your connection with God's just, it's crazy. What's crazy is that person, people who have a tendency to mock God and yes, I'm a God-fearing man. People who have the tendency to insult God or people of God or children of God, those people lack abundance in every form. The people who move closer to God will find abundance in every aspect of their life one way or another. They might have to fight for it, but they achieve it because the Most High always acknowledges his children. All right, this video is very, very fiery. It's like, yeah, I'm excited to teach about this. I have little lights here too. How about that? But I'll have a tripod eventually, but that's the thing. Just know that if you're doing right, you're doing right. If you're doing good by God, take what everyone has to say and throw it out. Because people, if all these people who gave you advice on everything, if their life was going so well, then you'd probably be taking their advice a long time ago. But a lot of times the people who are in the worst positions are always giving advice. Oh, that's they'll have a mouthful of words about, oh, it doesn't matter if that person hit you or punched you in the face or crossed boundaries or they attacked you or they stole money from you or they and they'll always find an excuse, but they're blood, they're family, you have to talk to them. You talk to them. I'll talk to God. And the people of God will talk to God, okay? People who want to repeat bad habits until they end up in jail, until the police are called. Because that's what, in this world, that's what it comes to. People will get into prison. People will be put in prison before they understand, oh, wait, that family member, before they make the distance. So start learning. If this message is for you to pass to someone else, do that. Do that. You started in this world with God, and you will end in this world with God. You don't take the family member with you. You won't always see your family member in the afterlife, and if you truly want to see that person in the afterlife, then you will move away from them, and you'll pray for them to move closer to God. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Make sure to check out FloridaStoneman.com. Some really cool crystal jewelry is coming to the website. Till then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!